Hello everyone, this is Julian. Today I will be talking about my predictions for E3. For those who don't know, E3 is the Electronic Entertainment Expo. It's a big conference that's held once every year, and it's a meeting that all the big game companies come out to, and they show off their new either games, new titles, new consoles, everything that you need to know in the gaming realm basically. So let's get started. I will start my predictions by going in order of each conference. Alright, first up is EA. In terms of their BioWare games, I doubt we'll see Mass Effect this year since Andromeda was not too long ago, but it has been a little while, I think about 4 years now, since Dragon Age came out, so I do think we have a chance of at least seeing a teaser trailer for a new Dragon Age. Anthem, I think we'll get some gameplay and possibly a release date. The last time it was shown, of course, was last year's E3. And Battlefield 5, it just had its reveal trailer not too long ago, so I do think we'll get gameplay and a release date for that as well. Up next is Microsoft, and this one is the biggest mystery to me. We've already gotten all their major releases for this year, and Crackdown has been delayed until next year, as it's been confirmed. So there's not really any telling what they could show this year. Crackdown being delayed, sure, it's possible we'll get some gameplay of something, but in terms of other titles, it's an absolute mystery what they could show. The sky's the limit at this point, and frankly, I think they can either make or break themselves with this conference this year, as they haven't had the strongest lineup of games in the past few years. Then comes Bethesda. They more recently revealed Fallout 76 with the teaser trailer. I do think that means it's completely possible we're getting a gameplay trailer at the conference this year. As for Elder Scrolls, I do think and hope that we're getting a tease for Elder Scrolls 6, because it's been 7 years, believe it or not, since Skyrim came out. So I think plenty of time has passed for them to at least have something for that game to show. As for Bethesda's other titles, I'm not too familiar with many of them. Dishonored, I don't think it's time to show anything new for that. Wolfenstein, Doom 2 is potential, but everything else I'm not very familiar with the other properties of Bethesda. Alright, coming up next is the Square-Enix conference, and I think in feel in my bones the first thing is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. I think we're going to get a trailer and some gameplay for that. As for release, I don't know if we'll even get a release window for that. Square is rather unpredictable, but a guy can hope. Up next is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think we'll get a trailer and a release date for that game. And then comes Kingdom Hearts 3. I think to cap off all the other Disney properties that they've shown, I think they'll end it with the most popular one right now, which is Frozen. Show a Frozen world, show more gameplay, and then give a release date for this game that's been well over half my life in the making. And then I think Square will finally show the Avengers game that they're supposed to be working on, and I think that will be really amazing. Moving on to Ubisoft, I'm not too familiar with many of their titles. I will say The Division 2 is definitely going to get some gameplay and a release window, since they've already shown that they're working on that. As for other titles, the only other thing I can really think of, since Assassin's Creed has already been leaked, Prince of Persia is getting another reboot. It's been forever since the last Prince of Persia game. It would fit really well since they've decided to change the formula for Assassin's Creed already, so it wouldn't be too similar. So I think it has a fair shot at coming back. Then comes the Sony conference. This is also one that's really exciting. First up, the games that they've already announced they're going to show are Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and the new Spider-Man game. In terms of those games, Death Stranding, I think we will get gameplay. I am very doubtful of a release date or even a release window though. Kojima's been through a lot, and it's understandable if he needs quite a bit of time to make this game happen. Moving on to Last of Us 2, I think we'll finally get to see gameplay instead of just cinematic trailers, and I think we will get at least a release window for that game. Next, Ghost of Tsushima, we'll finally see gameplay for that as well, and I think we'll get a release window. Spider-Man, we already know the release date. There's not much need to show it at the conference, if we're being honest. We already got to see a lot of it, but if they show anything, it'll probably be a cinematic trailer or maybe another gameplay trailer in a different vein. And then moving on to some of the more third-party stuff, I really hope deep down in my soul that they reveal Borderlands 3. I don't need gameplay or a reveal trailer or a trailer or anything. Just the title will be enough for me, as long as I know it's being worked on. Then comes Resident Evil 2. They've talked about this remake for the second game. I really think that we're going to get a trailer at the least. In terms of whether it's in the style of old-fashioned Resident Evil or new Resident Evil, I think it can be very much a behind-the-back shoulder third-person shooter type that it was for 4 through 6, and leave the future entries in the franchise after 7 to be more first-person survival horror. And then the last thing for my predictions, Monster Hunter World will reveal a big expansion that adds a new area to the game and breathes new life by adding a bunch of new monsters, not just one, but like a whole biome with new monsters. So we already know that Nintendo is focusing on Super Smash Bros. For this conference, so I want to just go over my character predictions for this one. These are based purely on characters that I think are completely possible and not just some crazy desire fantasy that some people have online. Okay, so the first one will be Mario with Cappy. He replaces Flood with Cappy from Mario Odyssey. I think it's completely possible considering how popular Odyssey was, and it would just be a viable change in his moveset. Next up is going to be Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles. Rex fights a lot like Shulk, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just straight up remove Shulk for him, or if he could just be a clone character to fight there with Shulk. With Pyra, it would change the dynamic a little, since she is supposed to help him in battle by giving him his power to fight in the first place. I think it could be a potential for another cool duo character like with the Ice Climbers. Any way they decide to do it, I think would be really cool. Up next, this one's going to sound like some desire fantasy, but I promise you it's viable now thanks to the appearance of Cloud in Super Smash Bros. 4, is Sora from Kingdom Hearts 3. Since Square put Cloud in, it's completely possible they could put Sora in now, and it would just make so much sense. Kingdom Hearts 3 is slated to come out this year and could potentially be around the same time as Smash, so why not at the peak of his popularity put Sora in Smash? It would make too much sense. This next one's going to sound like a desire fantasy as well, but I promise you it just seems too easy at this point. Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, because this game has had crossovers with, and I'm not joking with you, Coleman Camping Gear, Afrojack, Cup Noodle, Assassin's Creed, The Sims, Tekken, Half-Life, and Twitch, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some more collaborations. So I 100% think that Noctis will appear in Super Smash Bros. I don't think there is a doubt in my mind that he will show up in that game. Then I think for Pokemon, I think Decidueye will be the one that they choose, because we already have Greninja, who is a water type, and we have Charizard, who is a fire type. Getting a grass type in the mix, I think, would make perfect sense to balance things out. Plus Decidueye is just undoubtedly the coolest of Gen 7, so there you go. Then my next one might seem a little bit more like a desire fantasy, but I think it's still slightly possible to get Monster Hunter into the game. They've already crossed over with Capcom by having Mega Man in the game, plus they did have Mii outfits of Monster Hunter armors in the last game as well, so I think it has a fighting chance. Okay, I might have lied when I said that I wouldn't put any Desire Fantasy stuff in here. But this one I know has no chance of happening. But if they bring back Snake from Metal Gear, and it doesn't matter which one, it can be Solid, Naked, or Venom Snake, I will probably lose my mind. So that does it for my Smash Bros predictions. If Nintendo were to show anything else, I think it would be more info on Pokemon Let's Go. That's going to be really big, and that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that one. I feel like they will reveal that Star Fox racing game that people have been talking about, and possibly a trailer for Metroid Prime 4. Beyond that, I don't think we can expect much more from Nintendo, but they are very unpredictable, so we'll see. That's it for my E3 predictions this year. I'm very excited to see what happens. It'll be very interesting to see where some of these conferences go, such as Microsoft, who we know nothing about. They could potentially show anything at this point, or nothing in sync. Or on the other end, we have Sony, who has pretty much told us what most of what they're going to show is, but could also still reveal some new surprises. So I think it'll be interesting either way. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you think about my predictions. Do you agree and think that some of them could happen, or do you think I'm crazy and think that I'm living in a Desire Fantasy, as I keep saying? Let me know, and if anyone else is interested in E3, please tell them to follow, like, and subscribe, and give me their thoughts as well. Alright, until next time, see you then.